The following program contains bouncing, giggling, and ludicrous amounts of squeak. Viewer discretion is advised. I was gonna say that in the event of an emergency, sound-canceling headphones would be deployed from an overhead compartment, but it seems I was a little late on that one, yeah? Whoops.
Riley, it's here! It's finally here! After all this waiting, I get to talk about it! This is just the best day!
So you've said several times in the past 5 minutes.
Can you blame me? I'm so excited! After all, someone messed up my chance to talk about the other thing I was really pumped for. But that's okay! I have a feeling they won't pull anything like that again! Will they?
They have to be one hell of a heartless bastard to do that!
Right? Okay, now let's get down to business. Welcome to the show, everyone!
Oh yeah. Hey guys, sup?
We're here! The final episode in our month-long event, March of the Magical Girls!
You know us. We gotta end on a bang, right? I mean, we sure as hell started on one.
We did! We started on Riley's favorite, Magical Girl anime.
Boy.
Kidding! But now... now we get to talk about mine! I can't wait!
Right, so let's dive into none other than Yuki Yuna wa Yusha de aru, also known as...
Yuki Yuna is a hero!
I wasn't kidding about the headphones, by the way. Well, whatever. I'm Riley. She's just about too excited for words. And you're watching Bullet Soon. Alright, so we're here. Now for the actual topic.
All of it! I want to cover all of it!
But hell no! Have you lost your mind?
Huh?
Oh, crap. I just mean, isn't that, like, just a little unreasonable? You love Yuki Yuna so much, you could probably talk about it for days, right? It's that good after all!
Oh, that makes sense. In that case, I guess I should try to pick something.
Ooh, wait, what's with this sense of deja vu?
Oh, I've got it!
Well, that didn't take long.
Yuki Yuna is the perfect commentary on the magical girl genre.
Huh?
Yep, it all checks out. So let's talk about it. We'll start with the most obvious thing. People who've never watched it love to compare it to a certain other show.
Oh, Fuela Magi Madoka Magica?
Bingo! And they're wrong. So very fantastically, hilariously wrong.
I don't know about that. The two shows exist in a similar space. Comparing them's pretty natural.
Sure, but that's not what I meant. A lot of it tends to just be calling Yuki Yuna a discount Madoka.
Okay, yeah, that is dumb as hell. The two stories are going for completely different, totally opposite things.
Yep, most of the similarities are entirely superficial. What matters is the big difference. So let me ask you this, Riley. What is Madoka Magica?
Huh? Well, it's a deconstruction of... Oh, I getcha.
Yeah! In the same way Madoka Magica is a deconstruction of the genre, Yuki Yuna is a reconstruction.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, we said before that a deconstruction is a story that takes the convention of its genre to a logical extreme. It separates itself from fantastical, fairy tale-esque thinking and replaces it with logic. Sometimes that logic is of the cold and hard variety, ergo Madoka Magica.
A reconstruction, though, is a little different. It's not a complete opposite. After all, something needs to be deconstructed before it can be reconstructed. But it works in the opposite direction. By sort of fusing the logical thinking of a deconstruction, the more idealized genre tropes and conventions.
Basically, it helps to think of a reconstruction as a response to its cousin. It takes something that has that fairy tale thinking and applies logic in a way that allows the more fantastical conclusion to still make some sense.
Reconstructions are some of my favorite stories.
She's loved fairy tales since she was a kid.
I have, and growing up with a sibling who exists to spoil that fun was rough.
Oi, you better be talking about her brother.
I guess that could be. He never went cosplaying with me. And even if he did, he'd probably never have let me take all those pictures.
What?
Anyway, reconstructions allow that magical, whimsical sort of ideal thinking to still exist.
Just kept in check by a little more reason.
Yuki Yuna manages to go a long way to show how completely awful being a magical girl actually would be. That's the part where it deconstructs the entire concept.
But then it turns around and pretty much pulls a full 180, pulling off a happy ending.
And they earned it! My sweet baby girls all suffered enough! Let them be happy!
Right. Well, the sequel even doubles down on it after deconstructing the end of its own first season. That is one hell of a task. But what the sequel actually manages to do is even tie all the idealism into its central theme.
Which brings me to my next point. A lot of being a magical girl is about sacrifice. It's a theme that exists in, well, most traditional and action magical girl shows. At least the ones not aimed at small children.
Hell, even some of them don't get away with not including it.
But Yuki Yuna turns that whole thing on its head, and it's amazing!
Yeah, I guess they do. I mean, it's pretty blatant about it too. In the first season, it comes in the form of literally sacrificing parts of their body in order to fight.
And in the sequel season, it's Yuna herself. But both seasons of the show go super far out of their way to make one thing completely clear.
This system sucks. And asking young girls, literal children, to make these sacrifices is grossly unfair.
It's sort of like a response to the all-loving, self-sacrificing nature of other magical girl shows. It asks the question of whether such sacrifices are even necessary.
And the answer it comes to is a resounding,
True, but I think that just makes it better, right? It's ideal in the right places, but realistic in others. It's not like they don't sacrifice anything.
Yeah, they do wind up sacrificing the continued protection of the gods, which they know will make life a lot harder. But that isn't their responsibility to bear in the first place. It's the responsibility of the adults who thrust this whole thing on them to begin with.
The show wraps it pretty nicely in its final message, though. It's ultimately saying that wanting others to be happy is nice, but you should also take the time to make sure you're happy yourself.
It basically puts the glorification of martyrdom on blast. Selfishness isn't just fine, it's a basic human instinct. Shunning that all the time is unhealthy. It just means you have to be willing to deal with the consequences of it. Hell, that is, in and of itself, a sacrifice.
Well put! That's my sister for you. Such a smart cookie.
The sad thing is, I can't tell if that was a compliment or if you're just patronizing me.
You decide.
Whatever.
Ah, there's one more point I want to make. The meta commentary.
The what?
Yeah, Yuki Yuna isn't just a commentary on the genre's tropes and stuff. It's also a commentary on the very people who consume it.
Alright, that one you're gonna need to explain.
Aw, so much for being a smart cookie.
The hell do you expect making weird claims like that out of nowhere?
It's a short thing, but actually really interesting. In the show, there's this group called the Taisha. They basically run the whole system.
Okay.
And, on a meta level, those are the fans of the genre.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to back the hell up. Huh?
I get it, it's weird. It's also probably entirely a me thing. But I couldn't help reading it as a sort of sideways commentary on the more extreme side of the magical girl fandom.
Trying real hard to avoid the word toxic there, ain't ya?
The comparison only really works in season 1, but it's still pretty interesting to think about. How the Taisha claim ownership of the magical girls to a point. They're the ones who want them to keep going out on more and more of these dangerous self-sacrificing missions. And they worship them as a result. Just look at Sonoko. She's basically just a bunch of parts when we first see her, but they listen to her anyway.
I mean, I guess, but...
Just like the real fans who want to see their favorite magical girls go on all kinds of super dangerous adventures, admiring them, sometimes to downright creepy extremes.
That's actually ominously on the nose, but I still don't know if I'd call that intentional.
Probably not. Like I said, it's just a theory. A Rila theory.
Did you just...
And there you have it! Yuki Yuna isn't just my favorite magical girl anime, it's an awesome commentary on the whole magical girl genre.
Yeesh. That was longer than I was expecting.
It was! And since we've gone this long, why not keep it up? I've still got my whole presentation from before. Going over everything that makes this show so great. Ooh, it'll be so much fun!
Oh god. That's a wrap, folks! March of the Magical Girls is officially over! What'd you guys think of it? Which team are you on? Yuki Yuna or Kill a Kill? Leave a comment, like, ring the bell, all that. Okay, we're out! Bye!